morning. Welcome to another episode of Jennice and Company. Listen, the goal of this show is to unpack it and heal. And what I mean by unpacking, you first you first have to know what's in the box. Let's just be real about it. You got to know what's in the box, and then you got to be willing to face what's in the box. Topic I want to talk about today is how can you love someone when you haven't loved yourself? Now, this is, look, and I ain't trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to make you pay attention, because a lot of times we are projecting what we need over onto someone else when we need to be satisfied with ourselves. We need to love on ourselves. We need to uh, really, really focus in and unpack things that we are carrying around so that we can stop trying to give our luggage to someone else. Stop trying to give our stuff to someone else. This is what a lot of people do that are with codependency and stuff like this. Now, loving yourself. How do you know when you are projecting a toxic trait over to someone else? How do you know? And sometimes, and the reason I ask, how do you know? Because sometimes you don't know. You don't know this is what you're doing. You're thinking, I'm just looking for love. I just want to be loved. I just this, that, and the other. And ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be loved by someone else. But it is a problem when you are the love that you need to have for yourself, you're trying to get from someone else. That's when there's a problem. So you have to unpack that. Where And you got to figure out, where did I pick this up from? Why do I think this is love? Why am I operating in this behavior? I believe you have to get to the root of a thing in order to get free from something, and you have to go back to the first time you ever felt unloved. The first time, because know this. When you were a child, you knew who mama was, you knew where the love was. You knew where the love was. Okay, it's a certain time in your life, if you're dealing with this, a certain time in your life where you felt unwanted, unloved. You have to go back to that instance so that put the you could put the luggage where it goes. You could give people their stuff. When I was coming up, I got pregnant uh, at 16, had a baby at 17. Um, had to go to a school with pregnant women. A lot of people in Houston know about it. It was called K. And when I got pregnant, you know, uh, found out, told my mom, and I was dealing with a guy who was not claiming the child and all of this stuff, and I was not popular in school. I was not in the in crowd. I mean, I knew everybody, but so at school I was walking around. This is before I went to K. I was walking around feeling unwanted. The guy that I was pregnant by was at school, and so I ended up going to K. My dad was working out of town, so my mom took me. We all went to, I think it was Florida. I don't know if it was Florida or Louisiana. I get them mixed up because, I'm old now. And my dad, when he saw me, because I was about to pop. I was big belly pregnant. My nose had spread clean across my face. My skin had got darker because when you about to pop, all your face, everything swell up. When my dad saw me, he called me a ugly disgrace. That's what he called me. Now, when I was coming up, I used to excuse it away. Oh, he was just disappointed. Oh, he was hurt, and all these things may be true, but at that moment, I wasn't thinking like that. At that moment, all I could hear is the that my daddy, one of my most favorite people in the world, said I was ugly and said I was a disgrace. Okay? That stuck to me. It stuck to me. You know, I don't even remember the rest of the trip. I'm gonna just tell y'all the truth. I don't even remember. All I remember is coming down those stairs. Because I think he was in a townhome or something. I don't remember. You know, as kids, we see things bigger than it is as far as houses and all that kind of stuff. And so it stuck with me for years, sent me on a path of self destruction, searching for love, trying to replace that feeling, or um, trying to make my dad proud or do things to show him I'm not what he says that I am, or trying to fix it, trying to restore that. And I didn't know this is what I was doing, but I was destructive, and it wasn't the last thing my dad said to me out of his disappointment or whatever, or pain. He said he called me a baby maker. He called me he said, "What did you do? Put an ad in a green sheet. You know, I will have your baby, and you don't have to take care of it." It was some things he said, y'all. Now, mind you, uh, I did witness my father crying um, when he was talking to my mom and my auntie about me being pregnant. Man, I remember him crying, and I think that made it worse for me, you know. And after that, after having the baby, sure, before having the baby, I was on a spiral, y'all. I was spiraling out of control. My mom was not happy about the baby. She came in, put a big garbage bag full of bottles, and I thank God for it. But it was more like nobody was happy about me being pregnant, and which is understood, in black households. No, you don't be getting, these teenage pregnancies, and it was a mess, um, and it sent me on a roller coaster ride. It sent me. I'm telling you, when I say spiraling, and I'm trying to think of the details. So if y'all hear me saying a lot of I'm just trying to think of the details because I want you to understand how important it is for you to unpack this stuff. When I got older and gave my life to Christ and started learning how to face things in order to root them out, I had to go back to this ugly place. I had to go back to this dark place, this place of disappointment, this place of shame, and had to release myself from it. Okay, we we allow people to say things and do things because of the position they hold in our lives. We allow it to sit in our spirit. Oh, my daddy said this. Oh, my mama said this, and we carry these things, and it sends us on a a a a spiral of toxicity. I just put that one together, and you have to renounce this stuff. You have to cast this stuff down. I had to literally go back into this other place and pull this stuff down. A lot of people say, well, what about what other people have said? It doesn't matter. You got to get to the root. If you get to the root of it, then you can get rid of it. We it's just like when people be talking about they had a wasp nest or they see wasps. You go find a nest, get rid of the nest, you won't see another wasp. So it's the same thing when you're dealing with trying to change a behavior or mindset, or a pattern in your life, an unhealthy pattern. You got to go back to the place where it started, and you have to root it out. You have to root it out. You got to face it. You got to confront it. My dad passed away, um, and I was in a marriage, uh, and my dad, because I'm telling you, I was on a destructive path. So I married this guy. I was 21 years old. Married this guy, and he was cheating, all kinds of stuff. And I was still in the pattern, y'all. My I was at my dad's house. I was ready to get rid of this dude. I was so embarrassed. I was feeling some kind of way. And I remember sitting at the dining room table with my dad. He was cooking or something he was doing at the table. And I said, Daddy, you love me? I needed him to say it. It was something in me that needed him to say it. Daddy, you love me? He said, I'm not going to lie to you like your husband did. Now, we make excuses for the older generation and some of the things they say. And my dad and I my whole family is very sarcastic. So, and he had no idea where I was emotionally. Okay. And he could not stand the man I married. Um, he said, I'm not going to lie to you like your husband lied to you. So I said, Dad, you love me. Right. I'm not going to lie to you like your husband lied to you. And I think he was more caught up in coming against my husband at the time than listening and looking and focusing in on what was happening to me at that moment. I was a mess. And when I say I was a mess, y'all, I was I was a I was in a marriage. We'll get into that another show. But the point is, while I'm unpacking this, okay, so if you look at what I just told you, I was dealing with rejection. I was dealing with false identity. I was dealing with, and which the false identity came from that first instance when my dad called me an ugly disgrace. So I'm walking in that, walking in it and call myself running from it or trying to fix it, and all the while destroying things. Yeah. So my dad, so I'm dealing with abandonment because now, you know, your uh, rejection, abandonment, false identity, all kinds of stuff. It's all just a whole bundled up mess. And I think after that, my dad went to Afghanistan, and I was still with the guy. We was living with his auntie. I mean, it was weird. We was in a weird situation. And my dad went to Afghanistan, which I had a couple of dreams about him going and everything. And I was like, that is not a good idea. He was already retired, all this stuff. While he was over there, a phone call. I was at my mom's, and he called. When he called, he said, put Jennice on the phone. My mom put me on the phone, and he said, you could come home if you want to. He said, you can come home if you want to, because I was still in the dysfunction. You can come home if you want to. And I'm not, I don't remember if he told me he loved me, but I took that as that I love you, I need it. And I don't know if it was a few weeks later or a month later, we got a call that he had a massive stroke in Afghanistan. Well, he had it in Africa, Djibouti, Africa. Y'all didn't know it was in Djibouti, Africa. It is. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. So he had a major stroke, and they they sent him to Germany. So they put my mom on a plane, and that night, which was so crazy, I had a dream before she even called me. I had a dream that she was in a plane flying over dark water, and I recall some time before that I had a dream that he was in a casket on an army base. So I got the call, and I wasn't surprised, but it was unreal because, when people pass, you, you, you see a body, people could, they, but it was hard for me because There was no, we didn't have like a body to look at. It was, he was in Germany. Anyway, so my mom went over in Germany and stayed with him till he passed away. And we all got to talk in his ear on the phone. She did that for us. But it was hard, you know. Now, mind you, I'm just coming out of I'm just coming out of that damaged place, and so um, my dad, because at first I wanted to lay it all on my father, because that's what we do. We place responsibility for our actions and stuff we do on other people. And when I say root out stuff, it's not you can't it's not blaming people. It's destroying behaviors. It's destroying strongholds in your life. When you understand this came from this area, this is why it happened, this is what they said, this is why they said it, this had nothing to do with you, this had something to do with what was going on inside of them. When you unpack that way, you're able to release yourself from a stronghold, release yourself from something that would develop into a soul tie or not a soul tie, I'm sorry, a generational curse. And so when he passed, it was difficult for me. It was difficult for me. Why? Because I still was battling with the thing that was said to me and done to me, and I was still on that toxic roller coaster ride, you know, um, still dealing with that guy. And one day, hey, I just left. Got well. I'll tell you that whole story later. But you have to start loving yourself. In that relationship, that man cheated on me. Listen, I say he cheated on me so much, but I was so busy trying to stay married. I was so busy trying to make it through. I was so busy trying to not be what other people's to not let happen what other people expected to happen. So I wasn't even enjoying my life. I wasn't even living my life for myself. I was on a when I say a back and forth roller coaster, uh, you know, what a ride. It was crazy. When God began to deal with me and show me the root cause of what I was dealing with, and help me to put responsibility where it goes, and to learn how to embrace myself, how to love myself, how to be excited about myself, and how to, number one, forgive myself. I was able to be free, and I was able to love. And let me tell you something, until you, again, root out, get to the root. Who said it to you? Who was the first one to say it? Who was the first one to tell you were ugly? Who was the first one to tell you weren't gonna be nothing? Who was the first one? And was it and let me tell you something. 9 times out of 10, it's always a person that you look up to. It's always a person that you're impressed by. It's always a person that you have given a certain position of authority or honor in your life. And if you are a person who people honor, who people respect, be careful what you say. Be careful the words that you use. Now I hear people say this, oh, well, they're weak and they shouldn't believe what other people. Listen, when children are coming up, their minds are impressionable. That's why if you tell them they can be anything, they will be anything. If you tell them that they ain't gonna be nothing, and they might conquer the world, but they won't conquer your negative voice. They won't conquer it until they understand that that's what's been driving them. That's why you have people in careers and they leave their career because they never want to be that, because they have been doing stuff to restore or impress a person in their lives that is in a unhealthy position in their lives. So this morning's show is about loving you. Love yourself. Love yourself. Okay? Love you. And rebuke and get rid of and toss out the stuff that people said about you earlier in your life. Toss it out because it has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with them. Disassociate yourself from it. Allow God to show you who you really are and who He made you to be, and get rid of that hindrance that they deposited in your life. A lot of the things that people say to you, or whatever, they don't even remember it, but you remember it because you made them more important than they need to be. You made their voice more important than they need to be. I need for you to love yourself. I need for you to focus in on who you are, or who you are supposed to be. I need you to peel off every layer of disappointment and everything that you are doing in your life to impress people, and ask God to show you who He made you to be, your authentic self. Ask Him to show you who you really are. And I promise you, a lot of the things that you're doing, you'll stop. A lot of things, because you say, I got everything. Why am I so miserable? Because sometimes we get on a path that is set by negative by a negative force, you know. And people say, "Well, I'm rich and I got this." And, well, why are you miserable? You got the man you always wanted. Why are you miserable? You need to look within yourself, and you need to cancel some of this negative stuff that people have said to you. This negative talk, this uh, negative uh, uh, these negative sayings. And like I said, you heard what I said. I had to root that stuff out. And some people, oh well, you just no, no, no. I won't allow anybody to come in and minimize my breakthrough. Understand that. Get that in your spirit. Stop allowing people to minimize what you're going through just because they feel like it. Listen, it ain't their business. You got one life. You want to live it the best way you can, and you want to live it freely. You want to be free in your mind, body, and soul. You want to be free. The best way to be free is to be honest, to root it out, and to move forward in freedom. So good luck finding your authentic self. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Remember, without faith, it's impossible to please God, but with God, all things are possible. Who cares? God cares. See you on the next episode, and let's unpack and heal together.